Anja Asks Anybody. And today I'm speaking with Rosalie Robison, who's also an interdisciplinarian artist, writer, musician, what have you. Here she is. Hello?
Hello.
There you are. So, unlike everyone else who I've had on the show in the past month, you're someone who I actually know, but I'm excited to talk with you because I could know you better. So I have some questions for you, Rosalie. You published a book or two. Can you tell our listeners about the story in your book? Is it fiction?
Okay, I've self-published 2 novels, and they are both fiction. The first one was called Move, and it's about a man on the lam from a California crime who changes identity 3 times while moving across the country. But he's also looking for his daughter who disappeared with his mother.
Uh-huh.
The second novel is called Lucy, Pawn or Prisoner. And this one's more unusual because it's told from the viewpoint of a child.
Huh.
And she is 6 years old. She's living in 3 places: in a Mexican prison with her mother, who's been committed for a crime, on a reservation with her grandmother in Arizona, and finally in foster care in Arizona, where witchcraft is being practiced.
Wow.
So she has to wade through all this, and in essence, she sort of becomes the adult in every case.
Yeah, so these are very elaborate stories. Are they... I have to ask the question that everyone always asks writers of fiction, but like, how much of it is informed by your lived experience and how much of it is just a really good idea?
The first one is based on someone I knew in a former life. The second one was merely an article I saw in the newspaper about a child who was living in prison with her mother in Mexico, and I found that very intriguing because they don't do that in the United States. However, the child can only stay there till they're 6 years old, then they have to leave. And I thought it would make a really interesting story, so I just took off on that newspaper article.
Yeah. Do you think that would be I guess it would be a better situation if you had to be imprisoned to have your child with you. But then that's such an odd experience for the child, too.
Yes, it would be very different.
Yeah. That's something to really think about. So, how have you gone about with making these books in the world? Are you self-publishing, or did you find someone to publish it for you?
I had tried traditional publishers and didn't make much progress, so I had a friend who self-published some nonfiction on Amazon, and he suggested I try doing that. First, I self-published an ebook on Apple. That was for the book Move. And I discovered that many people do not use Apple products. So then I self-published that same book on Amazon. But now I'm learning that people are boycotting Amazon. So I have spent some time seeking a literary agent. So I've been sending out queries.
For the same story or a new one?
I have actually more books that are already written, and it's for a book called Postcard Thief.
So you have more books that are written. Have you been writing your whole life and then stockpiling them, or is this a more recent?
I think I started writing when I was about 12.
Okay.
So you're talking over 60 years.
Wow. Yeah. So what's in the pile? Do you have like a lot more fiction, or is it a variety of things?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4 other books. 3 are finished and 1 I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
They're all fiction.
How do you so when you're self-publishing, do you have like people test it first and like edit it? Do you hire people to edit it? Do you just have friends, or do you just go for it?
I did not. I did my own editing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe not recommended, but I felt confident. I like the whole process of writing, including editing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now that you've published these books and you've gone through the experience, what do you wish you had known before you began?
Marketing is really tough, and I don't have a good take on it right now. So that would be the downside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the actual self-publishing mechanics were very difficult to figure out. And for instance, in my first book on Amazon, the print was too small.
Oh,
and
no.
I didn't realize that till I actually saw the physical copy of the book. It's a lot of tweeting and a lot of details have to be cleaned up before you can actually publish the book, and it's very time consuming.
Have you gotten some good feedback on your books?
I have gotten some good feedback. Yes.
What are readers saying?
For the first book, they said it was a page. What do you call
Flipper?
it? A page turner.
Yes.
And they kept wanting to know what was going to happen next. So I thought that was a pretty good review. I haven't had much play with the second one, and it's probably a marketing problem.
Mm-hmm. But the first book was a page turner, and it was based on someone who you knew?
It was someone I knew who read the book, yes.
Oh, no, but I mean like the character in the book.
No, just the person that is on the run and changing identity all the time is someone I knew in real life.
Wow. Did you have to wait a long time before you felt safe to write that kind of story?
No, because that person is now dead.
But you had to wait for them to die first.
Sort of.
So you did have to wait a while.
So there wouldn't be any incrimination against me.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. How did you end up getting wrapped up in knowing someone like that?
I move in some dark circles sometimes.
Witchcraft. Yeah. So what other projects, because you say you're interdisciplinary, what other projects have you been busying yourself with in the past couple weeks?
Well, this novel I'm working on right now is sci-fi, and it's called Planet Improv Rebs. It's about an improvisational music group who are practicing basically in a garage, and the band leader has contact with another planet, and she was asked if the group wanted to come to the other planet and be the house band. So that's the premise of that story.
Will this book have a soundtrack?
That's an interesting question that I didn't think about, but I like it, and it would probably make a lot of sense.
Would this book then be a better screenplay?
Audiobook, maybe.
Audiobook,
There
yes.
you go, huh?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Wow, you just gave me a good idea.
Yeah, and we can use the studio here to record it. I'd be happy to narrate it if a female narrator makes sense for the story.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Maybe write me in.
All right. Make you the band leader.
Yeah. How does the story begin?
How does it begin? I think the people that are in the group are just messing around, and they don't have any real goal. And but the band leader has some experience behind her, and she has a lot of ideas, and she wants to do something different. She's done all the usual stuff her life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what propels them into the idea of taking it a little further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, focus. We have an album to make. Yeah. So you've been writing that. Any other creative projects?
Well, I always work on my artwork, and presently I'm very enamored with working with fused glass.
Oh.
Which is a lot of fun.
Do you have to have a special stove or oven for that?
I have a place I can go where they put it into a kiln for me, so I don't have to worry about that. And I'm always working on my music. I do every Saturday. I'm at the Jazz Gallery working with Rick Ullman. We do music improvisational sessions, and I use multiple instruments, and I'm always working on that too.
Yeah, sounds like you're nice and busy. What's the secret to living a relentlessly creative life?
I think for me, it's so planted in me that if I don't do it, I'd probably be a psych case. But it requires discipline. It requires consistency. And you really have to stick to it.
Yeah.
I've also learned that a lot of my multidisciplinary areas overlap, intertwine, and then collaborate on things, which I find very interesting. Things I don't expect happen. Yeah.
Yeah, they inform each other.
Sometimes.
Yeah. What do you have? Do you have a good creative assignment for listeners that maybe would suit multiple mediums?
The original question, I think, was one assignment or something, and what I came up with was take one word and find as many interpretations, definitions, thoughts about that word, and then just write about it. And I remember doing this back in college when I was, I actually have a writing degree, a Bachelor of Arts. And I took the word interesting and I made a whole poem about it. And my aunt came into the poem because she would say interesting. And I thought that was unique. Instead of interesting, inner resting.
Resting inner.
Yeah. So it's amazing, what you find out about a singular word when you start exploring it.
Yeah. I think that is the word that defines what all artists are trying to do. We're trying to be interesting.
I would say so.
Or we're trying to do some inner resting.
or both.
Yeah. Interesting. So take a word and define it in a bunch of different ways and then write about it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like your bachelor's in writing prepared you well for adult life?
No, I think the reason I went to this school was it's actually a Buddhist college.
Was it Naropa?
It was Naropa. And I went there because my life was a total mess at the time. I needed to straighten it out. I needed to figure out where I was going, what I was doing, and get rid of a lot of, to be blunt, junk in my life. And I went there thinking that I could have a music degree, but the college was not accredited at the time, although they told me when I entered that they would be, but they never were accredited. So I ended up doing the writing major and a music minor.
Was that the School of Disembodied Poetics?
Yes, it was.
That just sounds so like prestigious, but in like an arcane kind of way.
No, but there were some very famous writers that came through there, and the program was actually started by Alan Ginsberg, who I apprenticed with, so I learned a lot from him, and Anne Waldman, who's still here. Alan is gone, and they are both extremely good poets.
So you got to know Alan Ginsberg?
I did.
Yeah. What's a personal thing that you noticed about him?
He's a very humane person.
Mm.
He really relates to people on a very solid ground, evenness. Yeah, there's no like bullshit about him.
Yeah. Yes. So, if we were to humanely impersonate and copy you and try and become you, if that's such a possible thing, what tools or habits would we need to adopt?
That's kind of tricky because I'm a kind of a complex person. But I have this interesting trait of being able to disappear when I want to from whatever's going on that I don't care about.
What is that? How does that?
I mean, I can physically disappear or mentally or emotionally. So it's kind of a safeguard.
How do you do that?
I think it's innate. I just know when it's the time to do it. And I often feel like I don't fit in places. So it's easy to just slide out somewhere and disappear.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that you pass that on to the next generation?
Could.
Or is it more of just something that you have to inherently learn?
No, I think it's just something that was within my character, my personality. I can't say I ever ran into anybody that I know that does that.
What happens when you go invisible? What is that physiologically like?
I go very inside myself, and there's a lot of thought and deciding why I had to do that and whether I should have been doing that, and it just kind of a cycle like that goes on.
Yeah, so it's more like a you in your head spiraling about something that you perhaps regret.
But it often comes out that it will come out in a painting. It'll come out in a song of what I've been dealing with without, specifically outrightly saying anything about it. It'll
Mhm.
end up in the art.
Yeah. How has your practice changed over the decades?
It keeps progressing into different areas and they keep overlapping. For example, I basically started writing poetry, and then I started writing other things like short stories, and I would go to critique groups and I would read a short story, and people seemed to want to hear more. So then I thought, I'll try writing a book, and it seemed to work.
Yeah. You have a poem you want to read us?
I would like to conclude with one, yes.
Oh, well, we're not quite ready to conclude.
Okay.
We can that's just a preview of a soon to conclusion. Yeah, what are some fears or bad habits you've had to shuck over the decades?
I have a great deal of self-doubt about myself and what I do,
Mm-hmm.
whether I'm any good, whether I can do it. Things like that, I think, are my biggest fear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I relate to that.
I think that you and I spoke a little bit about that earlier.
Yeah. No, that was actually the premise of my entire visit with a therapist about a week ago. I just was haunted because I asked her, like, I just can't stop thinking, can I even do it? And she said that's the wrong question to ask yourself.
So I think consequently I push myself. Like performance is hard for me, but I push myself to do it because I'm trying to get more comfortable with it.
Yeah. What's the right question to replace can I even do it with?
Don't think about it so much, just do it.
Mm-hmm. Just the doing.
Yeah.
Okay. What is one practice you feel like you've mastered and one practice that you feel like you're still an amateur at?
Because I've written poetry for over 60 years, I think I'm very solid in that area, and I actually feel like it helped me in writing novels because most of my novels are about 300 word count.
Mm-hmm.
And usually people have to do a lot of editing and taking a lot of extraneous stuff out before they can square that novel away. And I don't have that difficulty because I'm used to writing shorter things. And the second part of that question was
Something that you do that you let yourself be an amateur at.
Well, I've taken, it doesn't have anything to do with writing, but I've taken on a couple of musical instruments besides the piano, which is my main instrument, and I'm really winging my way through them.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I don't feel I have any hold on them.
What
I
instruments?
keep working at it.
What instruments?
Clarinet, which
Uh-huh.
actually belonged to my father, so I was fascinated by being able to pick that up. And the second one I got recently was a saxophone.
Yeah. Yeah, you can rehearse those somewhere else. Do you have let's have your poem, and then if there's more time after, then we'll chat more.
Okay, I chose these poems because of writing the novels, and they are about fiction. Well, one is about fiction and one is about poetry. And they're called Recipe for Fiction or Recipe for Poetry. Find a character. Characters. Bus riders are a good bet. Throw into a cesspool setting. Toss in obstacles. Keel over dead. Love triangle. Down a mine shaft. And specifics. Red ants. Ripe persimmon. Croaking clock. Play with plots. Acres. Hectares. Spaces. Board games. Make character. Ha ha, boo hoo, spitfire, choke on. Complicate lives, an opposing anti, foe, genius, subversive sleuth. Resolve never to end with a nadir, overkill, pointless remarks. Cash out, climax, open to interpretation. Recipe for poetry. 1 word per page in a vertical line, drawn with pictures, upside down, touched by margins of clouds, steeped inside a flask filled with gin. If you ask me about famous words, I will say, I know one.
One
Word.
I love it when a poem ends on one word. And in this case it's
but
one.
The word isn't there. I know one. I don't say word.
Yeah, I love the first poem and how it suggests putting really specific details in. That's my little secret too.
Important little details.
Yeah. What do you think is the most meaningful part of life, Rosalie?
Just trying to live each day the best you can.
Yeah.
And that's not always easy. But I think you get through it somehow.
How do you know when you're living life as best you can for a particular day?
I think if you're happy with what you're doing or trying to do, and you're not worried about maybe money or commercialism or fame or fortune or all that hunky-dory stuff, just doing it because you love doing it and it's makes you feel good.
Yeah.
I think that's really where the bottom line is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you do have to take care of those hunky-dory things to ensure that you feel safe enough to
do
that. Yeah. It's always the trick. Yeah. So do you want to send a message to a previous self while our hearing as listeners and hosts temporarily goes out?
I'm not sure I quite follow that one.
So you can send a message to a previous self, just a 1-word message, and our hearing is going out in 3, 2, 1.
Shut up and sing.
Oh, my hearing is back. I have no idea what you said, but it was obviously very funny. Thank you for coming on, Rosalie.
This was wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. And where can people find your books?
Sign my books.